an immutable say collection of say data. uh, I'll just mention the first step. How do you create a tuple? Okay, so let us first create a tuple and then see. So um, suppose you want to assign a tuple to a variable. So it's a very simple, straightforward uh, assignment syntax. Uh, yes, Annie has a question. So yes, you just copy a few hundred lines of your choice, and that will be. Most corpus are big enough, so the freedom that you have is just copy a small part of it, a few hundred lines, and just drag it and your cursor and copy that. Okay, yeah. And for the tagged corpus also you do the same. uh, Copy those very lines that you have copied. For the same, try to identify and get that much tagged lines. Okay. um, so once you have tuples assigned, tuples will also come in handy sometimes. Tuples have a very fixed sequence, of course, and sometimes tuples are considered, okay, they are very secure. They cannot be, let's say, changed by mistake or something. So you can secure some data inside the tuple format. Okay, so you could just let's say print your tuples. Okay, and find out what happens. Okay, control enter. Takes a few seconds. So once you run your uh, tuples, it is taking some time. Yeah, okay. So maybe the first import will require some time. I would also suggest that all of you, I'm sure many of you are doing that, try to run it uh, and type it as I am proceeding. There's also a purpose why I am trying to type alongside. So all of us get some time. Do not bother about the line numbers on the left. You can set it from the, I think, the tools or somewhere else where I had set maybe the view and all that. Okay, but yeah, these are just line numbers. I did have questions several times during some earlier sessions. So these are line numbers. So you don't have to type that out. Okay, so so suppose you have already been able to observe that there are a lot of names here, maybe beginning with the same alphabet, and some names are also, let's say, some alphabetical orders are also different than it should be and all that. Okay, so running a sorted, okay, function, a sorted, kind of sorts the values inside it and gives you pretty useful sequence, and that is also quite useful. You can order things and all that. Okay, why don't we see if the set function also works. So maybe set of okay, maybe control enter will work. Okay, nice. Right, so I hope all of you can see the difference. Can someone type the difference? So as we go deeper, more participation is, makes it very clear to you, um, rather than me telling you. Can anyone just type the difference? Yes, Ekangshi, Inakshi, alphabetical. Plus, there is one more difference. So you'll have to notice these few things. Brackets, fine. That's the form difference. What is the difference in the content? Can anyone point out? Mm. What is the difference in the content? See, these are what you need to notice right now, rather than yes, exclude Purushottam. Good job. Mohan appears once. Kanopriya. Yes, exactly. Only one Mohan. So those kind of solutions you can achieve during by using things like set, and sorted doesn't do that, but set does. Again, all these functions, sorted, set, and even remove and all that, as Ritesh was also pointing out, you can extend their usages to different types of objects that it may take. Either a list or a tuple and whatnot. String also you can explore and see. Maybe it won't work on some of them and all. So those need to be your free time experimentation. Yeah. Okay, so well, tuples seem to be pretty straightforward. Um, so you could see, let's say, you could try to find um, the values, whether they can be changed or not. Okay, so that can be an experiment we can do. So suppose I need to, I just want to see what is the say first value. All right, it's pretty visible now. Okay, so that is the whole point. um, so suppose I just wanted to change it just like list. Okay, suppose I would love to try that. So what would it result in? Okay, so tuple object does not support item assignment. So many times you will have to make errors, because those errors give you a lot of insights. The errors educate you. Okay, so it seems to be a pretty straightforward analogy that you see for real life here. Only failures can clarify your say insights. So it gives a detailed say explanation about what happened, and you get to know, oh, I see, this particular type of the object, it's a type error. Also, that's also pointed out. Does not support item assignment. So like that. Okay, you can get rid of that. Right. So as well as not only can it not be assigned, it deletions also cannot happen from inside a tuple. Okay, so just to prove that these are immutable, say, data types. Okay, so for example, uh, hmm, for example, this is a group of code. So you just create a tuple, let's say dump tuple, whatever, 1 2 3 4. um, no, this doesn't actually. Okay. Well, I haven't seen um, command for deleting from inside that, say, with an index like this. Yeah, so we can try this experiment just like the list and dictionary and all that. So what we can do is just like remove and all that. You can try some operations also. I'll just do one. So something like this, we could do that. Okay, just same as that. We can just try on our tuples and see what comes up, and see the explanation of the error that comes up, and let us see. So as you can see clearly, okay. So but if it were a list, the Python would have happily obliged. Yeah. So I think that is pretty clear. Tuples are mostly um, constructible also by those brackets, just similar to the dictionary tuple construction. Okay, so it is just, so you can just create a new tuple and say tuple of this. Uh, Double brackets are must because the first one uh, belongs to the tuple. So it's not that it's double bracketing. Uh, Inside the first layer of brackets, you have this tuple where this where is, yeah, as you can see, this is the format, the syntax for creating a tuple. And on top of that tuple, this is a function which will take an object, sorry, take an object inside a bracket. Most cases this is the case, situation, right? So rather than saying double brackets are a must, I just wrote it so that you note that um, the case is that inside the bracket is a tuple. So and then you can print the new tuple and check whether the creation is successful. That's all. Okay. So you can also make certain simple things. So you can try to count. Oh, I could rather. You could also count um, the number of tuples. Sorry, the number of occurrences of an item in a tuple. That's also possible. Same as list or even dictionary or other things. Okay. So what you can have is a pretty straightforward query. I'm sorry, it wasn't copied. Where suppose you wanted to count Mohan. Okay, so was Mohan the culprit earlier? Yes, tuple is different from a list. Oh, yeah. I hope, Anakshi, you were able to see the basic differences by now. So as yeah, you could see Mohan was the culprit. He was coming in, the word was coming and peeping all the time, I think thrice or something. So let's see how many, what is the count that it is able to extract. So twice. Yes, okay. So the count function works. So you can see these functions have a lot of extended usability across several data types, and so you can get very creative and try to use your intuition as to whatever the data type may be. You can just experiment with different types of functions. And as the Python philosophy uh, suggests, there are several lines of philosophy of Python, coherence and several things, so easy to read and all that. Most of the codes are also like natural human language, many functions and all that. So many times you will be even able to uh, guess certain functions, and then you will see, okay, you have a good insight into this already. It happens many times in the beginning. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So for the creating the tuple, even though it's no, not only the string. Yeah, we have
Pardon?
to represent. No, no, no. We have to represent the each value must be in the double quote. If it is the numeric, also we have to represent in that the same way or
No, no.
uh,
Yeah. So
integer
uh,
line
a double quote simply means a string. So if you
string.
want it to come as a string, as in a
Yes, yes,
character,
I know that. I know that. If it is
that's all.
integer means for creating the tuple, we no need to mention the double quote. It's a single quote is sufficient.
So if it is integer, tuple has nothing to do with whatever is inside. Sorry, tuple creation format
Hmm.
and at the brackets itself. ठीक है ना? Everything inside is the same as
The
for
list.
list. हाँ, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Or even dictionary and what else.
Okay. Okay.
है ना? So these are independent of the tuple part. So it's not a part of the format or syntax of creation of that. Yeah, I hope it is clear. Yeah. So you just while creating the tuples, the let's say uh, the brackets, mm, the container, say edges left and right. That's the you know the first bracket, or simply braces. Uh, okay. For list it is square braces. For dictionary it is curly braces, so on and so forth. And inside some structures exist. Yeah. So those will all be the same. Even in dictionary, do remember you can allot number as the key also, or let's say integer as the key. You can allot integer as the value also. That freedom is there, so there won't be any issues. All right. So as you can see, the count is also visible. So tuples has several utilities, and it has, you can sequence them. I mean, you can check the set of elements in tuples and other things. And because they are immutable, sometimes they are used when you might plan to take different types of, say, data types, different types of data, and sometimes you may want to secure, say, some of them, etc. That's what I can, one possible application I can think about, so that during your operations certain things do not get changed and all that. But definitely when you are, say, going through while loop or for loop and other things, you have to make sure that the data type is identified properly. Okay, and then the operation is executed, so on and so forth. So you could do several things, like you could create, whenever you are, will deal with definitions in the next classes. um, Whenever you are able to, let's say, uh, yeah, whenever you are able to say, write a function, okay, define a function, uh, which we are going to do after this part. You shall be able to create some planning such that suppose there are some nouns and some adverbs, suppose, and you want to keep the nouns in a list. Okay, and maybe you don't want to touch the adverbs now. You can keep them in tuples, and just an application. And through for loop, you can look at all the data that you have created. If some of them are lists, there may be some operations. If some of them are tuples, uh, it may not allow some operations to the tuples. So it's just one way of looking at it. You can also search online. Okay, where are Python lists? What are the applications? Why should Python lists be used? Why should Python tuples be used? And so on and so forth. There will be a lot of ideas where people have already used them, where other things may not be much convenient. Okay, so a little reading is also required on your part. You can explore that. All right. So I think you did have uh, a small introduction, or let's say at least a mention, decent mention to, sorry, the for loop already. Okay, so this brings us to a few things where we can check, like, what all we have covered, and how interestingly we can explore with the for loop. So there were questions about displaying vertically or horizontally, you know. So as you will grow into it, you will see that display is mostly for checking when you are building the command or prototyping and all that. When you are at the implementation level, just the existence or the extraction of the value is enough. Okay, you don't see the need to see the print or anything. It is there, it is created, it is returned. So okay, so now you shall see a lot of vertical list outs. Okay, vertical printing. All right, so why don't we see in a situation where you can, in fact, let me put another text. You can, in fact, loop through each item of the string, okay, and then you can print them. This has already been covered, I hope. Okay, there is a little call. I shall, yeah. So please have a look at this. You can try to understand. Maybe some references already been made to this by Teja. Uh, you can guess what is going to be the print. It's pretty straightforward. I'll just take 1 second. It's a little urgent call, and yeah, I'll just. I'm sorry for the delay. Yeah, so I think this is pretty much clear, self-explanatory, and this is what happens. Well, the vertical printouts may take a lot of space and all these things happen. Right. So I hope you can understand what is the basic difference between this particular say output, and the cause of this particular output, okay, and the cause of the previous outputs. Let's say print my string. Okay, you have to understand the basic difference. So this print merely shows that every time something is encountered, work on that. Now in this string, as let's say delimited, or having the edges as let's say quotations, double quotes, even single quotes work. um, every item is encountered independently, every character inside it. Okay, and it will be repeat if I say this again. Why don't we look at more examples and explore? um, just see if the volume level is good. Yeah, fine. So you can do several types of loopings. You can, you name it, like list, or let's say tuples, or let's say whatnot. So you can loop through anything that you can create. You can loop through dictionaries also. Okay, so these are pretty interesting. Okay, so suppose you have a list and you just want to loop through every word inside a list. Okay, so in the assignments you will have to do a lot of these usages. All right, so actually, rather than just printing them, what you shall do is, for every item you can do some operation on that. Say split that item, etc. So in the tagged corpus, mostly it will be something like this: noun, or let's say this will be pronoun. I guess I'll have to see, but maybe It's a demonstrative, something like that. So you will have to look up. Actually, I'm just guessing. Okay, this may be the about a tag about be verb and all that, article and so on and so forth. Many things may be there. Okay, so this kind of information exists, and what you can do is after you have found each item, you can do some operation on that item. Okay, and then start storing that into a dictionary. Pretty good. We shall do more of this very soon, and we shall see how we can access both the keys as well as values from a dictionary after a dictionary is created. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so I'll get rid of this data for now. All right. Yeah. So the utility of this for list and print is not about the vertical or some kind of visual. It's mainly to access each element inside a particular data structure, and then you'll have to work with them, and you can use them for certain other operations upon each of them. So you can split them at a character, look at the left and right side and do something else with them, use the right side value as the key of a dictionary, and store the left side value as the left side as the value of the dictionary. Anything that you may imagine. All right. So okay. So the other things that we need to look through is, yes, the dictionary part. The fun stuff comes here. So what you can do is, I see, loop through. Oh, you have to double click. Sorry. You can loop through the keys of a dictionary and do some interesting stuff. So, for example, you can just have a look at this simple code. We have done a lot of these dictionaries earlier. So you have key, you have the value, comma key, colon value, comma key, colon value. Pretty nice. So uh, as you will see, uh, let's say if you wanted to do my dict, say print my dict 0, it will give the first element. Yeah? So let's say we could test it separately. I should run this first. Okay, so let's say first element. Okay. Oh, I see. Sorry. Dictionary starts with the first one. Oh, what was the problem? Oh, sorry, I didn't check it out. This, but hmm, I see. There is some version issue or something. My dict is stored. ठीक है, I'll have to resolve it separately. ठीक है, we'll look at that later. Explore. You can also explore what is the way to print the first value. So I think my dict outside. ठीक है. Or hmm, ठीक है. We'll look into that later. So the first fine. So a dictionary does not let you access the items like that, but while doing a for loop, you can easily access the keys inside it. Okay. So as you can see, the keys are available, not the values. Okay. So the same uh, uh, let's say strategy can be used to print the values also. Okay, so suppose you wanted to print loop through the values. Okay, I'll just create a text. and sorry, you can just print the values as such. Okay, so let us even type, it will be easier for you to follow. So for every, say, item, every something, every item inside your dictionary, these previews are bothering a lot of you. Okay, so you can print, okay, my dict of that particular key. So I hope you remember the, let's say, format in which the query for values are done in dictionary. So my dict square braces this gives you, as you can see, it's even pointing out here, contact is available, and so on and so forth. So it is looped till the last element here, and Google Colab is showing you what has been the last thing that it has guessed. Okay, so let's see what happens. Fantastic. So what it has simply done is, for the first say key which is not printed here, it has printed the value, likewise the others also. Okay, so you can look through the keys, you can look through the values. Okay, so what if you wanted to use both the key values and do something interesting with both of them? Okay, well, uh, pretty simple. Okay, any guesses? Make some guesses while I am preparing that. Let's say, sorry, this should be 3.2. Okay, so uh, well, the application is very simple. For x comma y, that's it. All right, so for both of them, okay, print both of them, है. So it's pretty straightforward right here. Let me just put the microphone properly and see what happens. Oh, I see. Sorry. I did not. I forgot to write something else. So if you remember earlier, you have this particular element, items, for each items. So if you go back to dictionary, always look up as usual. Okay, so you have something like the items. Okay, so what are the items? You can check the items of the dictionary by dict name. Okay, I might have skipped it for time, saving time. So you can skip, go through the items, and you can also check what are the mydict dot items, right? And then you can print both of them. Comes out pretty fine. Why don't we also check how the mydict dot items stand on its own? Okay, and dict dot items is also stored inside. And what can you see here? It's a list of tuples. Okay, so all this kind of information is stored inside. So, and you can then print that. Well, it's just mostly printing that no, values of that tuple. So is tuple. So why this is useful is that once you suppose create a dictionary of say the words you count encounter, your loop encounters some certain words. Okay, in a list that you have extracted from a, say, tagged corpus. Okay, or let's say you want to extract the words from the raw corpus where there are no tags, and you may also want to have uh, created a set of data where you have extracted the tagged corpus. I hope by now you have already seen the contents of the tagged corpus. A slash separates the word on the left side and the tag on the right side, and the meaning of each tag you can check out through the brown tagging strategies. There are several tagging strategies, Stanford and several others. Yeah, so you can get used to it. So something on the left um, of that tagged corpus, you can match that with the other contents of the other list that you have extracted from the, let's say, the raw corpus. And then on the right side, that is the value you can store as a dictionary by splitting. You can identify that as the tag for that. So what you can simply do is, you can do it as a free time. Yes, thank you, I'll repeat right now. um, Suppose there are, as I have already given to you, two major, say, text files, where there is a corpus, raw corpus, which is not tagged or annotated, nothing, and the other is a tagged corpus. Okay, so you could start with some linguistic operations. um, you could create two lists. I'm sorry if there is a noise. You could create two lists. One of them is the raw list where only words are listed. So you take the string, split it into sentences, then again each of them into words, and then let's say use the extend command to put all the lists. I mean all the extend the whole list into a sequence of words. Then you can use a set of words so that you know make a set of that, store it in another variable, and you have only a list of single occurrence of each word. So you can create another list now, which is a tagged list. You can split at certain punctuations and all that so that you can get only the words. So on the left side you will have the word, and then the slash, and then on the right side you will have the tag. Right, simple strategy. So what you have is two major lists. Okay, one is the raw words list, the other is tagged words list, suppose. Now what you can simply try and do is, okay, is the information in the tagged words list sufficient enough to tag a raw text? Okay, isn't that fun? So straightforward. What you could do is create a third, uh, create a dictionary, okay, from the second list, which is the tagged list, such that the tags, the word, each of them words, let's say each of the items that you have identified, they have three things: a word, a slash, and the tag. So you could split them into two halves and convert them into a dictionary. Okay, you can explore and how to do that. Once you have split something into two halves, you can easily use the first half to store as the key and the right half to store as the value, or you know like that. You could try at this level. There are other complications that will come up, I know, but at least you can start doing that. um, Now once you have this dictionary, you can create the second dictionary, which is look at the raw list of words, and then uh, uh, use for each of the items in that raw list of words, check if that word exists in your key of a dictionary, of the dictionary, other dictionary that you have already created, and then uh, check for the value of that key in that newly created dictionary, sorry, old dictionary, first dictionary that you have made, and then uh, store that as a value of that new dictionary that you are making. So you are kind of able to create a definition, as let's say a code which is able to take two corpus, let's say parallel corpus. One is the raw, the other is the tagged, and then you are using information from the tagged corpus to simply build your first dictionary of your text, raw text, and give the part of speech for each word. Okay, I hope the plan is clear. These are the type of things you'll have to do in the assignment also. So just giving you a head start, as in what all things can be done. So these kind of loop strategies come in much handy. Once you have access to the x's and y's, you can do everything. And yeah, once you are in the for loop, you will have to explore a little and try that. Okay, so if there are any questions, yeah, do keep typing. I'll try to respond to as many as possible. Okay, so you can have a certain, go through certain items and key value pairs and all that. That is also good. You can also likewise loop through tuples. Okay, so and do other, kind of, let's say, operations also you can combine alongside. Okay, let me even name that. Let's say loop. Why is that? All right. For example, it's pretty simple. So you create a new tuple. Okay, there's the old tuple. Okay. So for each item in class toppers, you can name the item as whatever you want. It may be anything that goes like a variable. Okay. So here I have put name, and if name equals Mohan. So these are logical operators, and you can check whether something equals to this or whether something is not equal to this. Those kind of strategies can be used for name, that is for each name in this particular tuple. If name equals Mohan, print this, and there you go. That happens twice. Well, you can also create some kind of say count beforehand, and the count will increment as many times this loop has to run, suppose, and that also can be printed. Okay, let's say current equals 0 if name equals Mohan. ठीक है. Why are the okay, all right. Let's see if it works. Sorry. Okay. So I think you may have encountered this. Let me see if it throws errors. Oh, okay, okay, okay. T. Okay. Okay, I'm forgetting this actually. So there is a way of getting this done. Give me a second. This should have worked. What is the problem? Oh, sorry. Typos. Uh, So can you see what is happening? I'm sorry for the typos. I'm just was forgetting a few things to add here and there. Let's say, let's make it even more interesting. This should have come before. Okay, interesting stuff that you can do with strings and all that. Let's see. Hmm? So isn't the output interesting? So every time, so the for loop you can use to actually iterate and check if some matches happens, you know, once or twice or whatever. But for every match, it is in only that's first that single loop. It will, increment the count and print something. Again, it will go for that loop. While going back for the loop, the value of count is locally, okay, not globally, locally it will be stored as uh, that new incremented value, but still it will remain inside the loop, and it will go for a second matching attempt. Okay, so once that match is successful again, uh, this match is successful again, it will do the increment it again. Otherwise, here itself it will stop. So as you can see, only during the matches it has been incrementing, it has done nothing else. Okay, so these are how many times you can count certain words. You can do it in a dictionary and all, but now you have, a function called even count and other things like that. You can use that. So this is the manual thing. So instead of count, you can simply say, let's say, my count, or say what, um, say I, let's say, or uh, count is the best sensible, thing to write. Let's say C, okay, C for count, let's say. Or let's say index. Let's call it whatever. Okay. So what I'm trying to prove here to some, newcomers to programming strategies in the class is that these things will run no matter what. It's just a variable name, okay, and it adds, to that available value called 0 only if the name is encountered, and it goes on. Okay, so this is kind of an inline string insertion, and you can put several strings also. I think it might have been mentioned earlier, I am not pretty sure. And you have to follow a sequence just like English language. You have to follow the sequence where the subject, verb, and object happens. Is something just like that. So just follow the sequence. What do you want for the first string location? You have to mention first, and what do you want for the second one? You have to mention just after this. So that sequence will be strictly followed. Let's say another string here. Hmm? What do you see? Shall it work or not? What is your bet? Okay, so in most cases, um, you will have to allot a variable here. Okay, so let's do that. Uh, so oh sorry. Hmm. Right. Let's see how.
Sir, a question.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, in the sentence class toppers, like for name in class toppers, the colon, is it
Oh.
important in Python to give the colon?
Oh, I see. So these things like for and if and all that. So these are let's say well, there would be some technical name for it. Ritesh would like to come to the rescue, or some someone's who has done a lot of advanced reading. These are beginning of some say, not a condition, a kind of special case where a statement must follow. Okay, so it has to be uh, followed by a particular statement. So before the statement, this colon is required. Okay, so there must be some technical name for this, right? So for conditions, or these kind of loops or other things.
So a colon
uh,
is not for beautification. It's a part of syntax itself.
oh yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay.
You cannot add any character unless it is strictly allowed. Any other thing is forbidden. Space is okay for clarification and understanding. Yes. So if we did not, what is happening with the second string? What is the problem with adding several strings? Okay, hmm, I'll have to check it out. ठीक है, देख लेंगे. There must be multiple strings allowable also. Uh, um, just checking. String, right. Okay, fine. We'll deal with that later, and you can also find out. So it should be allowing several strings in a sequence, or yeah, ठीक है. Or maybe there is a list of strings required, and it will take it from the list. That can also be possible. Yeah. Um, so sometimes you can do that, and then you can run this and get. Oh, there is this problem. I see. Right. That was the problem. Um, uh, let's see. Let's see. Maybe it won't take, but still. Mhm. The second one is not enough arguments. I'll have to check it out. How that one used to work. Maybe a few things. Okay, forget it for now. So at least you know that there are ways of putting strings inside it. Yeah, as far as I believe, there might be a list way to do it. So, anyways, this is just for seeing in the printout, something that you are adding, and sometimes as a value also you can use this and store certain information. So you can predefine certain variables and use them here to add some part to the text and so on and so forth. So that'll make it interesting. Okay, so of course, so you can loop through tuples and several things. Okay. Um, so I think you have to go through functions to do the next part, right? Just give me a second. Yeah, for now, please. Okay, so there are ways to deal with certain items. If you want to skip some items, or if you want to, let's say, uh, stop the loop, okay, whenever you have found something already, those kind of things I might have been mentioned. So an example, nice example for it is the break command. I'm pretty sure you have come across it. Okay. Stop All right. So what I can do is let's maintain our okay. Let's maintain our one of our list again. Whatever manipulations may be there, we'll just reinitiate the previous one. So if you can see, is simply tuples or list, doesn't matter. That you don't need to worry about that. Um, so for each item in this, if name equals to certain thing, okay, then you stop and then print that name. So there is a question here that you, yeah. So there is a yes, Srikant, we'll discuss about that later. Um, so there is a question here. What is the problem if I do not use break, and if I simply say if name equals Maria, print name, है ना? So why don't we let's say let's say uh, these tabs are a little different. Let's do this. It works, okay. But if I used break, is there something different that it's going to give us? Oh, I see. Sorry, that this was required. Some tab issues are there. I'm sorry. Yeah, now it will make sense. Now the specific requirements require you to use the tabs and everything specifically because these are copied. I mostly store all my codes in Visual Code, what is the Studio, and some tab differences come about. Okay, fine. We just take care of that. So what is happening here, and how is it different from doing that? Okay, of course there will be problems. So I hope some of you might be able to think of the cause why we are observing these things. Now look at this. Let us understand this. Um, okay, so it's already 12:30 right now, and we're at the end of loops actually. Please suggest whatever about the next class and all. We'll try to wind up accordingly. Yeah, Ritesh, you can let me know. Yeah,
Abhijit, I think we'll have to, yeah,
of
finish
course,
this
of course,
class.
of course.
So one thing is that if you want, you could continue in the lab session as well,
Uh,
maybe for 10-15 minutes, half an hour, something like that.
yeah,
If there are things that are left, or if that's not possible, or if it's not, it could not be completed, then
this won't be required, I guess, because there is just this one and the continue command. That's all. So just one code is required. After that, we can pick up with the other things another class
so there
also.
might also
Next.
be questions and stuff. So let's
Yes,
continue
yes,
with this in the
yes,
lab part.
yes,
Will that be okay?
yes. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so at 3 then, and if needed, maybe tomorrow, you
Yeah,
could continue with this,
yeah,
or if we finish with this today, then I'll do the file handling thing,
yeah.
which will be kind of a break. I mean, a natural break for this week.
Yes. ठीक है.
Okay, okay. So
Okay.
what we'll do is, unless there are some urgent questions. Can you please explain how to add the brown corpus text in the Python program? So, Momita, I guess that's a longer question to answer, actually, Abhijit.
I think I have answered to her, suggesting that for now, take some few hundred lines and work with that. It was also mentioned in the assignment, so you can do that.
Okay,
assign that
okay.
to a variable and work it out. Don't have to import now because it hasn't been discussed. So yeah.
All right. So I think that was the only question that was pending from all the other questions that was there. I guess so. Yeah. So there are no more questions.
Sir, a side question regarding the collab. Sometimes I lose the link for the uh, present day collab. Like today's this page, is the link already shared or will it be shared later, sir?
It's the previous one, I guess.
This is the
Yeah.
link that was shared yesterday. It's the same link.
Okay, sir. It's in our emails. I keep this is a bunch of
Yes.
emails. I keep losing it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so I'll
the
find
same.
in the emails, right? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just look for the day 4 link with it, and it will be. It's the same link that was there for the day 4.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right.
So then we can break. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Then
think we'll finish this session and we'll be starting the intermediate one in 5 to 7 minutes. So, uh, if some of you are joining there, please come there. And also, so remember, for in the lab session, we'll have around 15 to 20 minutes of this lecture. So, please be there for the lab session. Okay.
please.
Yeah. So, that's Enakshi says that you have to refresh the collab sheet to get the latest code. So that's, yeah. Try doing that if you're not getting the latest one. All right, so uh, we'll see you in the lab session, and I finish this one now. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you, Abhijit, for
Yeah.
a very
Thank you.
nice session.
Thank you. Yeah.